Hey there. Uh, Welcome to another one of my videos. This is going to be on one step adding and subtracting equations. And we're going to build some understanding of what is actually happening when you solve an equation algebraically. So we're going to look at what's happening here, and then eventually I'll have you watch my notes and you can see the actual algorithm behind solving an addition and subtraction equation. So it says model the equation x plus 2 equals 5. So I'm going to take an x, put it over here. I'm going to add 2. And then the middle works as my equal sign. So we want it to equal 5. And you can see right now it does not equal 5. But I want you to watch what happens when I have the 5 over there. Now it's changed to an equal sign, and step 1 is marked off. Now, step 2 is add or subtract the number with x to both sides. So the goal when solving an equation is to get the variable by itself. So I want you to think about how we could cancel two positives. Okay, if you said two negatives, you are correct. So I've got to put two negatives on both sides. And the golden rule of algebra says what you do to one side, you must do to the other. So I'm going to put 2 on the other side. Now, when we learned about integers, we learned that it takes one negative and one positive to make a zero pair. So every time we see a negative and a positive on the same side, we are going to make it into a zero pair and it disappears. So now the variable is by itself, but I have to take care of the other side as well and make those disappear. So the answer is x equals 3. Now we're going to look at a new one. Okay, this one says x plus 4 equals negative 5. So once again, we have an x and we have 4 positives. And we want it to equal negative 5. So now I got to drag 5 negatives to the other side. Okay, now step 1 is marked off. Now step 2, add or subtract the number with x to both sides. So now I have 4 positives. So how do I cancel out 4 positives? If you said 4 negatives, you are correct. So put 4 negatives on both sides. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. Okay, now, if you can make, there's step 2 complete. Now step 3, simplify both sides. So if I can make them disappear, I do. So 1 negative, 1 positive, until the variable is by itself. And the third check mark is complete. So the answer is x equals negative 9. Okay, now let's take a look at another one. And I want to find, here's a good one, x minus 1 equals 3. So now, if we want to show x minus 1, if you think back to when we learned about integers, we talked about subtracting a positive is the same as adding a negative. So we can look at this minus 1 here as negative 1. So what I can do is I can go ahead and put 1 negative on this side to represent minus 1. Okay, the other side equals positive 3, so we're going to put 3 positives. Okay, now step 1 is complete. Now step 2, I've got to get the variable by itself, so I got to cancel out 1 negative. So what would I need? That's correct, 1 positive. And what I do to one side, I must do to the other. Okay, step 2 is complete. Now I cancel. The variable is by itself. There's nothing to cancel over here, so x equals 4. Now, what I would like you to do is try a couple of these on your own. So go back to Google Classroom and right underneath this video, you can click the link that will help you do some of these problems. Now, if we've already done it, then skip that and go on to one that you haven't done yet. and try 3 or 4 to make sure you understand it. Good luck.